Welcome everyone. We will be talking about the plan of monitoring and evaluation in this video. This is going to be a very short and a sweet video for you to understand. Exactly the planning process is what we will like to address out here. The agenda is very simple: how a project will measure progress towards the end, towards achieving the goal, and the purpose of the project thereby. So clarify the monitoring and evaluation requirements thereby. So exactly that it has to be done there itself in the planning process. Establish plans for data collection, data analysis, data utilizations, and quality issues assurances thereby. Provide and monitoring and evaluation work plan. Outline monitoring and evaluation plan, responsibilities of capacity building thereby, and how do we go across with it. That needs to be understood. It should serve as a project institutional memory for monitoring and evaluation with this scenario. Let us address the functional fact of the theories of change, the TOCs that we talk about it. Remember, a project is being undertaken for a change. Remember, for a change, it can be upgradation of a facility, incorporation of a new technology, or probably there has to be change in the organization culture, values, ethos. So it's a process, perhaps a product. A theory of change describes a process for a desired change. A product that contains a set of hypotheses, critical assumptions that makes up causal pathways of change needed to bring up a desired long-term goal. Probably we can talk on and on about these theories of changes, why change is required. And believe me, change is something which is always constant, and everybody will come across changes in their life. Otherwise, they are not upgrading themselves. Otherwise, they are not making themselves relevant to the community, perhaps to the society. And perhaps success is always evading them. So, logical framework, it's a rigorous methodology used for project design that focuses on the causal linkages between project activity inputs, outputs, desired outcomes, or purposes thereby. Remember, theory of changes, that TOC should be distinct from the logical framework, focuses on the project strategies and activities. The theory of changes and logical framework, the log frame, if I may say so, this is nothing but logical framework that comes around it, focuses on the project strategies and the activities thereby. Indicators, performance tracking table, awardees, it's a primary tool to track, perhaps document and display performance. No, there are data available with you. You remember, and if you look at the data, there are big data available. We will not be able to. It might be looking very hocus pocus, very topsy turvy, very confusing. Can you perhaps touch the method in the madness? Can you make some sense around it? And that is where, if the data has been presented, collated in a particular fashion, it is the awardee's primary is to track, document, and display the performance indicators. Remember, it mirrors your logical framework. It can be a panel representation, it can be a graphical representation, it can make some sense as far as some equation that comes around it. At least one indicator for each log frame component captures all required quality mission indicators plus project specific indicator that will report to the full and final project that goes around it. And remember to use a quality template thereby. Let us talk about PIRS, or the performance indicator reference sheet. Provides a number of facilities that comes around here that needs to be taken care of. Develop PIRS project for specific indicators per se. Now, how do we go across it? Use quality mission program in indicator reference sheets. Now, what is quality pitch sheet? It's the indicator which is easily recognizable, easily acceptable, globally acceptable, and that is what we are looking into it. Provide absolute detailed definition, calculation, and data collection instruction for the indicators thereby. AMP, or the annual monitoring plan, describes the strategies of collecting the annual monitoring data. They can be through surveys, through regular monitoring system, through reporting, through recording, through various tools that have proxies come across. Is probably it can be a responsibility across the partners, as in you scratch my back and I scratch yours. So you keep a tab on my things, I keep a tab on your things, along with our individual tabs that we keep on each other. So we can always cross-reference, cross-check each other things. Standardization of definition, methods, tools. That is what the annual monitoring tool would be looking forward to. And That is what we are interested into it. So yes, the annual monitoring methods are all about methods, tool, responsibilities across partners, and standardizations of definition, methods, and tools thereby. What about data analysis, data management? Perhaps the safeguard plans that we go around it. Data analysis for all indicators are list of questions that needs to be answered. System to store process data, data that needs to be backed up. Probably everything cannot be lost. You have your data, you come up with a report, and probably this report is accepted, well funded, but then probably some years down the line people might like to access your data. Take it from the data should be archived in a sequence fashion so that it makes sense for the researcher, it makes sense for people who would like to visit why a particular decision has been taken places and how it has been done around it. So there has to be a data backup. Protecting beneficiary confidentiality is one of the most important things that comes in your life. Absolutely everybody, the individual privacy should be respected. Protecting data from theft thereof. Data dissemination and use plan. How project will use disseminate data for management, reporting and information sharing thereof. For each type of data, baseline, final evaluation, routine, monitoring, etc. that needs to be taken care. And how do we come across with it? So yes, the data dissemination and the usage plan needs to go around it. Not every data should be at the beck and call of every other person. Perhaps you need to understand how project will use and disseminate data for the management. Data quality assurance plan to reduce measurement, transcription, aggregations, and estimation biasness and error. Plans for internal data quality assessment as the case might be. These are the quality assurance that needs to be run through. So data quality assurance plan is very important. Let me talk about the staffing, the monitoring and evaluation staffing plan. Identify the required positions, as in who are there to in the quality team, who are there into quality circles, the quality assurance team that goes around it. Describe their roles, their responsibility. The ornogram of the whole chart needs to be mentioned around it with the fact that every responsible person should have the capacity development strategy to build upon it, increase their scope of work as such. So yes, staffing is very important. Identify all required position, describe every roles, every responsibility. Try to draw an ornogram. Ornogram is nothing but the organizational chart that comes around it. The capacity development strategy for each individual should be mentioned. This build a sense of loyalty and belongingness for an employee towards its organization. Evaluation is baseline study. Describe support to the third party survey firm. Yes, the external survey firm who are making some sort of contribution or notation on your organization, on your project, needs to be taken seriously. Perhaps they need to be sufficiently catered to. Midterm evaluation perm is when the project is in full swing. You need to understand, because the project is in full swing, everybody is running on a full steam, be it the men, the material, or the money part of it. And the such an hectic activity, things might go doldrums, things might get pilfered, which might get unnoticed altogether. So yes, we need to have a midterm evaluation plan, as in methodology evaluation question, the timeline that is required to be mentioned around it. The final evaluation plan describes the supports of the third party surveys. Yes, tell them what have you done, why have you done, how rationalize the scenario thereby. With this, I come to an end of this presentation of monitoring and evaluation, the planning process per se. Thank you very much all the way.